In this video, I want to talk about why being fit and self-aware makes people trust you faster. Okay, so look, man, when you work out, when you take care of yourself, when you're carrying yourself a certain way through life, it's almost like your physique, along with your attitude and your mannerisms, uh, it really allows people to trust you faster in a way. Okay, and I don't know the science behind this, but I've just noticed that like when you're self-aware specifically, and emotionally intelligent, when you're attuned to yourself, and you know how to like attune to other people, man, this creates like a sense of safety for people. People feel comfortable around you, man. They might not even know it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you create this safe space, safe container for them. And when you have a nice frame and a nice physique, bro, I'm telling you, when you couple these two things together, you look good, you carry yourself like a man of integrity, a man who has strength, who is capable, a man who can do, who is a go-getter. That's what your physical is saying to people. But when you got the proper attitude and you have this level of internal patience within yourself, and you know how to be grounded, you know how to create space for people, like maybe women you're dealing with, your kids, your coworkers. When you can do this, man, it builds trust. Okay. So why is this even important? Why is building trust important, man? It really strengthens your relationships. It strengthens the quality of your relationships when there's trust. Okay. So, think about the dude who's out of shape, man. The dude who's overweight, clothes falling off of him. You know what I mean? Hair all disheveled, bad posture. Look, that guy it's hard to trust that guy. You know what I mean? Because it just looks like he doesn't put any effort into himself. There's something about that, man. Who, a dude who was in shape, looks like he has some intention in his life, that he goes after something that is helping him and benefiting him. It shows. It shows in his energetic presence, and his actual like reality. You see it. But that overweight dude, or that dude that's super skinny, who's frail, you know, it's almost like they might be up to something, or because it's something about like the dude that goes to the gym, the guy that works out, the guy that works to improve his mindset. We all know that that takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of energy and a lot of like focus to really evolve, to be better, right? It takes a lot of time to do that, man. So when you see that, and somebody is a walking physical representation of that, you can't help but kind of have this like level of respect for them. You can't help but have like this. It's almost like they steal your trust. You know what I mean? Especially if they speak well, if they can articulate themselves very well. That, like I said, if they're a grounded individual, and if they look the part too physically, like got that physical armor in place, yo, it's like a trifecta, man. Those three things, man, or not even those three things. It's not even a particular number. What it really is just a way of living. When you, what's up, man? Okay. It's like a way of living, man. When you make this a part of your lifestyle, it bleeds over into every connection. It bleeds over into every relationship, interaction. And you may underestimate how important trust is in connections. Okay. I definitely see it in dating. For a woman to open up to you, for her to feel safe around you, she has to trust you. So when you have the physical frame and she sees, man, this guy works out, she's gonna be okay. He can probably protect me. I trust that he can protect me. I trust that he can protect himself. But then when you have that self-awareness, when you have that emotional intelligence, it's almost like, dang, I trust him to be able to kind of hold space for me and for himself. Maybe he doesn't overreact to things, and that's what that self-awareness shows. That's what that emotional intelligence displays. It displays your ability to maintain control. So that's kind of where I'm going with. That's the combination of all these things. It boils down to control. Your physical is showing that you have self-control. You may not eat too much nonsense. You drinking your water, you getting your sleep, you're hitting the gym consistently. And also it shows that your self-awareness, you have self-control in your responses to things. You don't overreact. You're not lashing out. That's not to say that you don't make mistakes, and maybe you do get knocked off your square. Maybe you do get knocked out of integrity sometimes. You know what I mean? We're not perfect. We make mistakes. You know, maybe you lose your cool. You say something that you didn't mean to say. But that fit, self-aware man, he has accountability. He knows how to apologize for his mistakes. He's not afraid to apologize. It's part of the process. You make a mistake, you own it. You take accountability. That's what a fit, self-aware man does. Sorry about the noise. Until my kid is out here bumping around doing stuff. But that is that's really what I want to focus on in this video, man. About like how being in shape, how having your mindset right, how it makes people trust you faster. I don't even want to say trust you faster, just trust you in general. You know, it's kind of a psychological thing. When you're a walking billboard and a walking sign for discipline and confidence and self-respect, and your follow-through game is on point, when you are a physical representation of that, people can't help but trust. I trust that he knows something. I trust that he's competent. I trust that he's capable. I trust that he is a dependable individual. That's the signals that I'm saying. I don't necessarily mean like you trust them, like I trust him to watch my kids or something. Like I don't mean that necessarily. I mean just on that deeper level, below the surface, this dude looks like he can be trusted to do. He can be trusted to follow through. If he says he's going to do something, more than likely he looks like he's going to do it. And his mindset backs that up. That's why it's so important to not only get in the gym, build your foundation, but definitely build your foundation of your mind too. And I want to blow your mind with something here too, man. I've been seeing all this content out here about getting lean. You see it everywhere. You got to get lean. You only got to get lean once. Get lean. I look at it like this, man. Yeah, get lean, especially if you're a fat dude. Get lean. Cut the unnecessary BS out of your life. That's what getting lean is. It's getting your body fat percentage lower, right? You're leaning up. You can see your muscles. You can see the strength. I look at it like you also need to get mentally lean. Okay, I ain't seen nobody talking about this yet, but mental leanness, being able to cut out the fat, the mental fat, the stuff that is not serving you, the stuff that is causing you to overthink, overreact, live your life on autopilot. You have no control over your decisions. You have no control over your responses to things. It's because you're like mentally obese or mentally malnourished, whatever side of the pendulum you want to look at it from. So you need to clean that up. And from my perspective, what that looks like, man, like I always talk about, man, yes, get in the gym, that's your physical, but man, you need to start working on becoming more mindful. Okay. Practice mindfulness, man. Mindfulness changed my life, man. It allowed me to learn how to like live in the present moment. Being a dude who was an overthinker, who lived in his head, heavy pot smoker, used to smoke weed all the time, man. So I'm analyzing scenarios up and down and left and right. That doesn't help the scenario. But once I started practicing mindfulness, once I started meditating, once I started realizing how much my thoughts were just running my day, running my weeks, running my life, it allowed me to be more in the present moment, man. And then once I started working out, bro, once I quit the drinking, quit smoking cigarettes, once I started eliminating things that just, it's like, why am I even doing these things? Once I started eliminating that stuff and started really implementing those things that were really building me up, that were building up my energetic presence. And I'm talking about meditation. I'm talking about being more mindful, learning how to be present, how to live in the present moment, not be worried about the future, things I can't control, worried about the past, things that have already happened that I can't control. This is what I mean by getting mentally lean. I mean becoming more aware, expanding your awareness of yourself. And the more aware that you become of yourself, you can start to do away with certain things that like don't really work for you, man. You know, like for example, say you somebody says something to you sideways, right? And it's, automatic just disrespect. I need to react this way. This is how I've been reacting since I was 14 years old. I put a person in their place. You're not going to treat me this way. When you become more mentally lean, like what I'm trying to talk about, and you become more self-aware, you become more attuned to yourself, and you look at it like, okay, why is this hitting me this way? When you can become more curious, that's mental leanness too. You become more curious. You're not you don't make so many assumptions about things. You learn to ask questions. When you start to implement these types of skills into your life, This is going to make your life a bit more smoother. You're not believing everything you think up here. You become more curious. You start to question what you think. You know that you have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and that there's no need to be believing all of them. If somebody said something to you, it felt like disrespect. Yeah, it probably felt like that for a reason. Maybe they said something to you sideways, out of pocket. Maybe you do need to address it a certain way, but even in addressing it, there's ways to handle that. You know, there's self-aware, emotionally mature ways to handle that. So when you are going through life and you got a nice frame, make sure that your reactions aren't like a 13-year-old boy, because that's a mismatch. You know what I'm saying? You got quality muscle, you're in the gym, you're disciplined, but you still let the slightest little things in your life completely knock you off your square and just rattle you and have you all down in the dumps. I'm not saying, look, we all human. That may happen sometimes, but I want you to become more aware of that so that you can learn how to bounce back faster. You can work on your resilience. Okay. And so I'm hoping you're understanding what I'm talking about here, man. The combination of these things. Yeah, I talk about body game. Yeah, I talk about working out, self-improvement, but I talk about mindset too. These are things that are going to make you a dangerous man, make you a dangerous individual, not a criminal. That's not what I mean. By dangerous man, I mean an individual, a man who knows himself, who knows what makes him tick, who knows what makes him tick, who knows when he is ticked off about something, and then he chooses, how he wants to respond to something. He's not automatically just taken by the moment. So when you are able to get your mindset to that place, strengthen your emotional awareness, your emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, whatever you want to call it. When you can get to that and you're in the gym and you got a nice routine and you got structure in your life and you kind of eliminate all of the BS out of your life, that's what I mean by making you a dangerous man. Yeah, go ahead. That's what I mean. You move on your own time. People got to adjust to you. You become, how do I refer? You become like the anchor out in the water, man. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that this video provided you with some value. If it did, please smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what you thought about this video. You know, I read all the comments, man. I love when y'all kind of share what you thought about the video. So make sure, you leave your comments and leave your thoughts about this as well. And also, if you want to dive deeper into understanding yourself a bit better, if you want to get better at self-mastery, all right, not overreacting so much, learning how to lead yourself with integrity and authenticity and purpose, and get off of autopilot, then book a one-on-one call with me. All right, use the links in the description. Also, if you like this video, make sure you check out this video right here. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.